not an option for me to not be able to live with my dogs.
A homeless woman's urgent plea to stay united with all of her dogs.
They're all I have left, and, they're my family.
Her home in Marsh Harbour, Bahamas, unlivable because of the ravaging forces of Hurricane Dorian. Still standing.
Hurricane Dorian was not a 5. It'll probably, after meteorologists finish looking at it, it'll probably be the first 6 on record.
Her car destroyed by fire.
That's currently on fire. This car is what's on fire.
Her husband's storage business wiped out.
Like, what next? Pigs are gonna fly?
Now, living in a motel with her disabled husband in West Palm Beach. And she has no transportation, no place to call home, no recent job history.
For me, as an American, I'm kind of a ghost on paper. I haven't been working over here for 25 years. Oh, that's just incredible.
And now her money's running out.
I'm in a catch-22.
She's not looking for a handout, but a hand up.
Just because I carry it well doesn't mean my load isn't heavy.
It was an unusually gloomy, overcast, mild day in the normally sunny city of West Palm Beach. We met Linda Albury at the Best Western Motel on Palm Beach Lakes Boulevard, where she's been living for months. She asked if we could make the 30-minute drive west to see her 4-legged family. You see, she's been using ride shares twice a week to visit her 10 dogs at Big Dog Ranch Rescue.
I see your babies. Hi, kids.
The dogs had been rescued from Marsh Harbour after Linda and her husband were forced to abandon during the mandatory evacuation. Organizations like BARC and the Nassau Humane Society rescued the dogs out of the disaster area, and from Nassau, Big Dog Ranch Rescue flew them to their facility in Loxahatchee Groves. The rescue has volunteered to take care of the animals until Linda can find a place to call home.
My dogs are my top priority.
10 dogs seems extreme for one family, but on the island, Linda had a purpose.
I've rescued in Abaco for 25 years. I guess looking back now, I was the one who had the first shelter there because I just took everybody in and made friends at spay and neuter.
The makeshift shelter, Linda's home, sits on a hill that is more than 20 feet above sea level.
This water was coming from the bottom up towards the windows. And I said, oh, that was the sea.
Oh my gosh.
That was the sea.
But even that protection wasn't enough against Category 5 Hurricane Dorian.
And then it sounded like the Jolly Green Giant with a crowbar. We were on a 25-foot hill, and we were knitted in with trees.
Her home, surrounded by trees, protected the structure.
Most of the trees literally died for us.
You can see what Marsh Harbour looked like before Dorian. Now, Linda's home, standing among a sea of devastation, but unlivable. Her husband Glen grew up on the islands and remembers a time when dolphins would come up and swim with him in the ocean. But now that life is just a memory, and because of health complications from diabetes, he is now a double amputee. As the storm hovered over the Abacos for 3 days, Glen couldn't move around much and was getting cabin fever.
Even every once in a while, I'd walk around doing like, baby shark, do-do-do-do-do, baby shark, and just like trying to break.
Linda used various tactics to distract and calm Glen and the dogs.
I'm a practicing Buddhist for 33 years, so I was chanting a lot, and they liked the sound of it, and so everybody was staying a lot more peaceful.
But the dogs had a calming effect on her too.
What's up? I was keeping them calm, and they were keeping me calm.
After the storm passed,
the tornado took everything.
Their business was completely destroyed.
Looked with the binoculars, and I looked in the distance, and I couldn't see our building, our storage building. I was like, I must have my bearings incorrect. Holes in roofs, holes in roofs, holes in roofs for as far as the eye could see.
mandatory evacuations began.
And so then it was Friday.
And something didn't seem right.
And you could smell something in the air. My brother said, something's not right over there.
There was a growing stench in the typically tropical air.
And I could not believe 5 people had perished only like 20 feet off my driveway, right there. And I said, oh no, and then you start hearing about people missing, and And then you look out in the street and it's complete scorched earth.
Realizing her situation was dire, she still put her dog's welfare first.
Superintendent of police came by the house. I hear there's a diabetic in the house. He's a double amputee. And he said, oh, we need to see him. You'll have to go with him. And I was like, I'm not going with him. My brother can go with him. I'm staying here with the dogs.
He realized Linda wasn't going anywhere, so he drove her to the grocery store and gave her 250 pounds of dog food. One day, the U.S. Coast Guard arrived.
The first helicopter I saw was a U.S. Coast Guard. And I can tell you, that put tears in my eyes.
They started evacuating, but Linda stayed with her dogs. Days later, the U.S. Coast Guard hovering above her house.
I could feel the vibration of the propellers.
She was now forced to flee.
I'm not joking. They were like movie star, central casting, U.S. Coast Guard come up the driveway.
Leaving her dogs alone in the Bahamas.
Ma'am, we have to go. And then they're like, ma'am, fuel's burning. We have to go.
She did leave, but not before putting the Coast Guard to work.
So I said, okay, well, you can help me with the water and you can help close the windows. And
You're telling the military?
Yeah.
The dogs now safe and secure, Linda grabbed one last thing, a treasured possession she would put in a safety deposit box for safekeeping in West Palm Beach. Linda is no stranger to the Palm Beaches. She grew up in Massachusetts, lived here for 14 years, where she worked everywhere from 2J's, the Gardens Mall, Admiral's Cove, and even dabbled in the performing arts. She calls herself a Jill of all trades. In the 90s, she moved to Marsh Harbour with her husband Glen to enjoy the island life. She kept busy in the Bahamas. Linda did the books and invoicing for her husband's storage business, a business that is now gone.
It took everything, and not a piece of paper from any unit is in that yard.
And then comes more bad news from the Bahamas.
That was the piece of property next door where an old abandoned house was, what got knocked down today. That's currently on fire. This is the one little spot in front of Uncle Ben where I'm gonna have to knock out his car. That's what's on fire.
A video of the fire, my car caught fire and exploded.
There's only one spot it could rock back to the house, and that's right there. I'm gonna stop it. Right there, the truck's full, thank God. It seems they have fixed the tire as well. I'm starting to pull off.
What next? Pigs are gonna fly? Like, seriously.
The fire was put out. Now Linda's living here in the Palm Beaches. She needs to find a job.
After living in Abaco for 25 years, I have to completely reestablish myself here.
A home for her and her 10 dogs.
You know, and I've been looking and looking and looking and looking and looking, and it's just like a 4-dog maximum.
A home that is handicap accessible for Glen. As we made our way to Big Dog, Linda had a strange request. She asked if we could stop at the Bank of America so she could get something out of her safety deposit box. Something valuable she put in there weeks before that she brought with her from the Bahamas. What was it? But more on that later. We arrived at Big Dog, and she revealed this week she had to make a tough decision.
Her injuries were going to be too great for her, so that was a tough blow.
To euthanize one of her 10 dogs.
Blood coming out of her nose.
Sunshine had cancer and wasn't doing well. We got out of the car, and Lori Simmons, who's the president and founder of Big Dog Ranch Rescue, was there to greet Linda. Lori had a surprise, a Jeep Cherokee that was donated to the ranch, now a gift to Linda.
I feel so bad for what you've been through.
The 2 dog rescuers, kindred spirits, both caring about the dogs more than people.
More than most family or friends have done, you've done for me.
Other side of the road, it's not like the Bahamas. I get mixed up when I'm over there.
That's
so remember,
right.
You got to remember it's the other side of the road.
That's right. Stay on the right.
Yeah, stay on the right.
The new Jeep means Linda can look for work and a place to live with her 9 dogs. Where are Linda and Glen going to stay?
She just needs a place to rent where she can have her dogs with her.
And I consider the word rescue analogous to the word vow. And I think Lori, it feels the same. You know, rescue is a vow.
I mean, if I have to live just myself in a trailer somewhere with the dogs. That's what I'll have to do, but
one question lingered. She's out of money.
This is a Rolex Pearl Master.
Lori goes one step further, paying Linda $10,000 from her personal checking account for that pricey possession.
Which is the creme de la creme.
The possession she put in that Bank of America safety deposit box. Linda stashed away while leaving everything else, including her dogs, behind in the Bahamas.
It's going to help me start my life over again.
We'll give her a start to be able to put a first and last in security and 6 months rent down to be able to start her new life over again.
I'm the top dog.
And a buffer of cash while she looks for employment.
Watching her suffer with her double amputee husband living in a hotel room and trying to find a ride or an Uber to get out here to be with her dogs just tore me up.
But there's one more urgent plea from a woman who doesn't want to be a burden.
I know that the house is out there somewhere. I just haven't found it. It's a needle in a haystack.
But I need to get us back to our own life.
9 dogs and wheelchair accessible. A tall order for any landlord.
She just needs a helping hand. Her dogs are extremely well behaved, non-destructive.
One dog lover to another. Thank you so much.
So Linda needs one more hand up. If you know of a place she can rent with her 9 dogs and is wheelchair accessible, please reach out to Taste and See South Florida, and we'll pass your information along to help Linda find her next piece of paradise. Thanks for watching.
I've got to reinvent myself, especially at this age now. All these people came together just to help my dogs.
I have all shapes, sizes, colors.